What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only. It is Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scott, how was the weekend, buddy? It's Monday morning once again.
Oh, it was pretty good, actually. I took a little bit of a backseat on gaming. I didn't play too much too hard, just a little bit of Rocket League, but I once again have to address my eyes here because I have mad allergies for spring, it seems like.
It's kicking
and
in.
My eye drops just made it way worse. So
Oh, no. Well,
that's what's going on right now.
hopefully you're not too blind to read our doc, because what's going on today's show, where everybody can be joining us live on twitch.tv/theofficial ITG or over YouTube at ITG Reviews. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Don't forget, we also have the charity stream for Covenant House out of Toronto, Main Mission, where you can come support a great cause on April 2nd or join right now over at mainmission.ca. Scott, are you ready for today's show?
Oh, I am. I think there's one in particular here that I'm interested in.
Dude.
Well, there's a lot of question marks in the future. I like those kind of news.
The whole thing's riddled with question marks. The Valve appears to be working on a few new projects. What are they? We'll get into those. Dead Space developers move the remake release window, and Bungie, not to be outdone by Valve, is also working on a bunch of games. Like, it's just, what the heck is going on? Let's get into Half-Life as data miner uncovers references to 4 unannounced Valve games, including Half-Life Citadel. Really? This comes from Michael over at PSU. References to 4 unannounced Valve games have been unearthed in a data mine by YouTuber Tyler McVicker in what he describes as, quote, the most fruitful data mine I have ever experienced as a journalist, end quote. The games were uncovered in the files for Aperture Desk Job and reference 4 unannounced projects, though right now it's unknown if they are actually in active development and will actually see the light of day. I think that's the biggest thing, Scott. Will they see the light of day?
Yeah, these are just on the drawing board, it seems. But
sure,
well, there's some big, heavy titles in there. So I want to believe that this is real, whether it's many years out or not. I just want to know that, well, Half-Life Alyx was a huge hit. So I want anything in that vein.
Northern Nerdcast joins us over on Twitch and says, you guys are fast. You guys are back faster than Tom Brady stayed retired. Well, that's I saw that yesterday, dude. That was weird. But man, yeah. Either way, let's get into
I think that man struggles to open doorknobs with the amount of Super Bowl rings he has.
That's fair. Citadel, some kind of follow-up to Half-Life Alyx, Counter-Strike Global Offensive Source 2 port, and a recreation of the previously canceled Portal Paint game. Somehow, a significant amount of Citadel code comments are just sitting in the Aperture Desk Job DLLs. Jeez. He said nothing there are, quote, way too many for one video, end quote. And dude, that's only 3 games. If you may have caught that. I'm still looking for the rest of that. Where's the 4th game? Regarding Citadel, it had already been reported that Valve was working on a title called Half-Life Citadel, which McVicker had previously labeled as, quote, Left 4 Dead, Alien Swarm, and RTS and Half-Life all having a baby, end quote.
That's a super strange combination. I'm not sure how that makes much sense, but think about that in terms of, okay, well, how do you make Half-Life work that way? There are factions, so an RTS could happen, but well, Left 4 Dead and an RTS and an Alien Swarm, how does that work?
I'm not really sure. Aperture Desk Job takes place in the Portal universe and is a free to download, acting as a way to introducing capabilities for the Steam Deck, Scott. It's kind of like a tech demo, right? That's what that is. So that's only, I count 3 on my hand. Citadel, which is a Half-Life sequel, Counter-Strike Global Offensive Source Code 2, and a Portal Paint game. Have you ever heard of the Portal Paint game? Which, by the way, is only 3.
No, I can't actually remember that one. I'm wondering, well, a paint, how does that work? Is it similar to Portal 2 and how you can put up spaces on the walls for portals? That added a huge amount of depth to the difficulty.
Sure, yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything. Well, Scott, then the question leaves to be asked, What is the fourth game?
Yeah, no, it's just something that maybe doesn't have too much reference. Can't really tell what it is, so it wasn't reported in this instance.
What if it is a Left 4 Dead game?
Oh, that's an interesting idea. I don't.
Right?
Well, does Turtle Rock own? No, I believe they
No.
don't own it.
Valve-
That's why.
That's why they have Back 4 Blood, right? They went with Back 4 Blood instead of calling it the next Left 4 Dead game because they don't have the rights. Valve owns the rights to that IP. So Turtle Rock, being the creators of Left 4 Dead under Valve, had gone out on their own, done Turtle Rock, created Turtle Rock, and gone and done Evolve. I was trying to think of the game. Dude, I love that game. Rest in peace of that game.
And yeah, if only Evolve 2 came out in a better time for the internet.
Man, that would have been dude, it was so cool. They even like dabbled in the world of esports on it. That's for a whole other show. And then from there, right, they were working on Back 4 Blood. Back 4 Blood is their spin-off take on Left 4 Dead. What if Valve just goes, you know what? We saw what you guys are trying to do. We're going to bring it back. Here's Left 4 Dead, the next iteration from Valve, and everybody just loses their mind. Or Half-Life 3. Everybody's been waiting for it, Scott. We all keep talking about it. I'm not even a Half-Life guy, but I still know that, dude, everybody is wondering, will we ever see Half-Life 3? That's the biggest question. And can they live up to the hype?
It's one of those things where I don't know if it'll ever live up to the hype. So it's almost like I think it would be too risky to do it. Because if you let that out of the bag and then it just doesn't meet expectations,
flops.
well, that might kill the whole Half-Life brand entirely. And
yeah,
although that hasn't been very active until Half-Life Alyx, I think they're bringing it back in a kind of side spin way.
Well, so yeah, well, exactly, right? Half-Life Alyx is being a VR game. Half-Life Citadel is the follow-up to Half-Life Alyx, which again seems kind of weird when everybody really just wants Half-Life 3.
Half-Life Alyx took place between number 1 and 2, so I think this one will take place between 2 and the different DLC expansions that were added. There's several chapters to Half-Life 2, so there's a huge amount of story to still fit more characters into without having to go chronologically towards what would be 3.
That's fair. Do they stay in the realm of VR only, Scott, or do they bring it and make it acceptable to the Steam Deck, right? Do they want to bring it over to that platform now as well?
That is interesting. I wouldn't mind a dual kind of control system, but I'm hoping for the VR myself. Just because Half-Life Alyx dropping you into City 17, like the vistas that you get into, and oh man, I really like that game.
No, for sure.
I still have to beat it, which unfortunately I've recently discovered, though. There was a video that went through games that you may not have finished, and it says that there's only like 15% of people that have played it that have actually gotten to the end of Half-Life Alyx.
Well, dude, I played it, and there's no way I was finishing that game.
No, I think it's like 12 hours long. It was
and creepy. Yeah, that doesn't go with me, especially in VR.
Yeah. You have to let me load up and get you through that headcrab house, because that will get you.
Yeah, exactly. Scott, let's move into the realm of Dead Space remake delay confirmed. I don't think it was actually really considered to be coming out this year, though, was it?
I didn't consider, no. I kind of thought of it as being 2023 at the earliest.
Yeah.
And it seems like that has kind of been confirmed, but...
Absolutely. This comes from David over at PSU. Motive Studio hosted a developer live stream focusing in on the sounds of the Dead Space remake. EA Motive also confirmed suspicion from earlier in the week that Dead Space remake has been delayed to 2023 and is now set to launch early next year. The confirmation was given right at the end of the live stream, as the developers were understandably hesitant to say any specific date, though at least did confirm they won't be getting it. We won't be getting it this year until next year sometime. 2023 I think makes a lot of sense, Scott. I don't think anybody was really expecting that this year. I know I wasn't.
No. There's a lot of work that they want to put into it, and I want to see them, not just port the game again. So the idea that they're working, I actually missed this live stream, and that was really disappointing. But to hear that they're focusing on the sound sort of side of the game is really exciting to me, because, and I've brought this up a couple times, every time I think of Dead Space, I played it with the first headset that I ever bought, and it scared me so bad, dude. When I tell you, you can hear people scratching the walls in desperation. It's brutal.
That's
and
wrong.
it's brutal 10 minutes in.
Yeah, no thanks. Captain Awesome joins us over on Twitch. Says creepy horror games can't be played alone. Someone else has to be there to suffer with me to make it doable. Dude, we can play together. You can hold my hand, I'll hold yours, and away we go. This is the only way we're gonna make it. I can't do it either. It's not happening.
That's how I played Condemned. Me and a friend. I was everybody who watched me play those games. And at last, they're always terrified because they're like, "What is wrong with you? You don't react."
Yeah.
Oh, I do inside, but
no
time
thanks.
to run.
Yeah, that's the Dead Space remake we're talking about right now, Captain Awesome. They have now just pushed it. They had a live stream on Friday, Scott, or Thursday?
I think it was Friday.
It was Friday. And they pushed it to the following year now. I don't think really too many people are expecting to see it this year at all. I'm not sure where the heavy fan following were at with their thought process, but dude, I was not expecting this. They just announced it just like last year, the year before. So yeah, there's still a lot of work, I'm sure, to do. Well, absolutely. It's one thing to announce it, but nobody was expecting it this year. But what we can expect is a new report suggests Bungie has as many as 4 projects in the works, Scott. Comes from David on PSU once again.
I thought Destiny was supposed to be a 10-year project. I keep bringing that up to Nate.
Dude, you gotta be add a little salt to that wound.
You can see,
right?
You can see part of his forehead throb out.
He gets that vein, it starts bulging in his forehead. A new report from website Tweak Town has taken a close glance towards the abundance of job listings at Bungie has opened. It concludes there is as many as 4 projects going on right now. That is nuts. The report suggests 2 of them are new expansions for Destiny 2, while the other 2 are brand new IPs. Scott, we knew they were working on one new IP. That wasn't a big shocker, which is actually really exciting to see. I'm curious. What we do know about the new IP, one of them is even a third-person action game rather than a first-person title. Oh, dude, I'm in. That's my play style right there. Whatever Bungie is working on, though, it might not be until after the deal with PlayStation is finalized until we see what that is. That is the biggest thing there, Sky. These new IPs, do they stay exclusive to PlayStation? Who said that that's not what they're doing here? But you got to think, right? If you get... Dude, you got to go back. You got to bring it back to Xbox, right? And the acquisition of Bethesda, making Starfield be exclusive. You're going to think maybe this next Skyrim, like if you're a Skyrim fan, you got to be wondering too, if that's what they're up to with the next Skyrim game, will that be exclusive to Xbox? Here's one way for PlayStation to answer back and go, hey, we got the creators of Halo over on our platform. You want to play their next shooter? You're only going to get it on PlayStation. It makes a lot of sense, man. You don't spend that kind of money just to pass it off to somebody else.
It lines up really well with what Brad Northern Nerdcast is talking about when this kind of came to light, the Bungie acquisition.
Yeah,
he thought, okay, well, is this a bit of a hostage situation? We'll allow Bungie to be cross-plat if you keep Call of Duty cross-plat.
Yeah,
and well, as much as that, it's kind of fun to think about. I don't think it's going to work that way because, like you say, the numbers, the huge amount of zeros they spent to acquire these studios.
Yeah,
I think they're going to want to keep it exclusive.
You got to have some kind of draw to your platform, right? And I think when we talk about Stadia, it's kind of everything we play on Stadia is things we're already playing somewhere else for the most part. Like, you know what I mean? That's the thing. How do you draw your crowd in? How do you draw them into your platform? You bring on exclusives. You have God of War. You have Spider-Man. Yeah, they're bringing it to PC. Horizon, right? Absolutely. My game of the year so far. It's one of those things that you pull with new IPs, exclusive IPs. That's how you pull them into your console or your platform. And don't share that with Xbox. And then that works vice versa, right? It works both ways. The realm of PC, I think, is a little bit different. They being PlayStation and Xbox, know how big that audience is. So why not tap into both of them? Captain Awesome wants to play all that stuff over there. So that's where he's going to go, right? He wants to be able to tap into his PC and play everything. And that's the realm of PC and where that's headed now. PlayStation finally opened up their eyes, Scott, to see that they need to be on that platform as well and not keep everything exclusive. And yeah, they're doing well. There's no doubt about it. PlayStation is still crushing it, right? PlayStation 5, man. I'm telling you, it's got to be my favorite console of all time so far.
Oh yeah,
that controller and everything.
I really want to know how that is. I wish I could list it in my tier, but eventually I'll get one. Maybe PlayStation 5 Pro. Maybe
That's
PlayStation 5 Slim. We'll see what's out at the time.
Things like this big. Like it's so big.
Oh, I love when that came out first, and they were making jokes. The
That's the shell.
That is really big.
That's how big this thing is. Yeah, for
I
those
like
who
the
don't have
jokes
a
that came
PlayStation.
out when they first launched and they were showing pictures of it. The Xbox was the fridge, ha ha ha, and I laughed too. That's funny. But then they had the PlayStation 5 gets brought in by the delivery man and put in the living room. It's now the coffee table, and I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the PlayStation 3 with the good old grill.
Yeah, Captain Awesome says I've been looking into the PS Now for PC. Play some of the classic exclusives. That's one way you're getting in, right? And let's not forget about the fact that they're talking about the Spartacus project of theirs as well. Kind of the competitive side of Game Pass to bring in. So, dude, honestly, if you have a PC, think about this, Scott. If you have a PC, you get Xbox Game Pass and you get the PlayStation Spartacus project, whatever that turns out to be, in the final name, that. You have both realms right there at your fingertips on your PC.
Yeah, no, it's mostly supported by the big releases, but
yeah, man,
there's some that you just can't get so far. But I think that's going to go away as time goes on.
I think so, because right now you can't get Horizon Forbidden West over there. I think it's only a matter of time before they bring it to PC. They're slowly bringing over the big dogs into that realm, but that's where we're going to go for now. Scott, why don't you take the next one, because this is all you.
Yes, we have Masahiro Sakurai in the news again for a very good reason.
Yeah,
he's maybe still a captive of Nintendo, but he is winning awards at the Famitsu Gengeki. I probably butchered that. Awards. He has been in the game industry since he created the character Kirby when he was just 19 years old.
Wow.
So that's why I refer to him as a captive. I know he's living a very happy life, so I don't mean to say otherwise, but he has directed several accounted games, mainly Super Smash Brothers. Everybody knows him for Super Smash, and Kirby is kind of a secondary thing, but he's been recognized for being the most valuable creator.
That's cool.
I don't think this sticks to just Japanese development studios. I don't think this sticks to Nintendo.
Sure.
So it's quite a prestigious award, but this is amongst a huge list of awards here. So I'm not going to list all of them because there's just way too many. But the Famitsu Awards included the Game of the Year, which went to Monster Hunter Rise, and the Most Valuable Creator, which went to Masahiro Sakurai.
Nice. Dude, that's good. Congrats to him.
A whole lot more. If you are curious, those are listed, but it's like I said, there's at least a dozen.
Yeah, a lot to talk about over there, Scott. That's cool. Nice to see that happen for him. Man, obviously one of the creators that is well deserved. He's been around for so long and created some of the best titles we've ever played. Like, that's hard to, you can't deny that.
I'm surprised, I think when it comes to creators, singular one person creators, it's either Kojima or Sakurai.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Scott, let's get into some unfortunate news. It looks like Perfect Dark has lost its game director. No. Andy Robinson over at VGC. According to his LinkedIn profile, Dan Newberger had left the California-based studio last month. His profile page currently flags that he is looking for work elsewhere in design or director roles. Scott, does that kind of raise some flags to you?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a retirement in this case. So It makes me wonder, was there any sort of disagreement? What would the reason behind leaving this be? I hope it's not like a absence of just quality or confidence, or, I hope it doesn't spell bad news for the developer. Yeah.
Well, exactly, right? Because design director Drew Murray left back in February as well. So there's two directors taken off, which is never really a good sign when the project is far from finished, Scott.
I really haven't
seen anything on it.
I'm just hoping we don't have Greg Miller calling out another individual at this company.
Yeah, I don't think so. Murray and Newberg leave behind a veteran team of creatives established in 2018. The initiative, led by Daryl Gallagher, the former Activision development boss and head of Crystal Dynamics developer of the Tomb Raider series. So There's still a great team over there, Scott, without a doubt. But when you have two people within less than a year take off at high levels like that, you got to think there's a bit of a clash going on, or some, design disagreements of some sort, right?
There are all these acquisitions and other companies kind of scrambling to follow up what 2022 has been already in a year. It's quite possible that there's just a lot of large checks being signed right now. A lot of kind of acquisition of certain developers, and that could be what's happening too. But in this case, specifically this case, you wouldn't be listening that you're looking for another developer, or looking for another position if that were the case.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to think he had kind of, artistic differences, and he said, forget it, I'm out. I think that's kind of what's going on. Which then, dude, but you're a big Perfect Dark fan. So that has to raise some concerns to you. What do you think the next Perfect Dark is going to be, Scott? How high? What's your hope level at? What's your excitement level, hype level? Where are you at right now?
I think this is going to be a return to Perfect Dark 1 and what made that game really good. Also, it kind of followed the heels of 007 Goldeneye at the time. So that's not exactly in the cards for the future. But I think it'll be a return to what made Perfect Dark 1, which is perfect. And maybe this actually gives me a little bit of worry because, well, if these two individuals have left the project, maybe that's because they see it being like Perfect Dark 2, which completely fell off. It's almost as less known as the Zelda CD project or CDI games.
Right.
Those Zelda games are like swept under the rug. Nobody wants to talk about them. Well, it's like Perfect Dark 2, unfortunately.
Fair. Yeah, so we'll see. It kind of raises up, dude. I don't think I've even played a Perfect Dark game, I'll be honest.
Man.
Right? So I kind of missed that whole 64 era a little bit. My cousin had a 64. So dude, I played the crap out of 007. My cousin had it, right? So we would go down to his place and we all be sitting there split screen killing each other. Oh man, it was such a blast.
Yeah, I was worried for you for a moment.
No. I played one of the most beloved games of all time, believe me. Yeah, I had hands on that. Dude, I remember being in high school and friends were talking about it and they'd all just meet up and have parties and stuff like that just to play 007. It was a blast. It's one of those things that really changed, I think, the couch co-op experience and multiplayer, moving that forward into a whole other generation of what could be, right? And now you look at things, wow. So that kind of gets us caught up to where my life started. Well, it started a long time ago, but
now I'm wondering, do you remember the first video game you played?
Okay, it was on Coleco, and I have vague memories of playing. There's a baseball game, dude. It was so bad. It was, you can see the entire field at once, right? So you had all 9 fielders on there, and then the pitcher would throw this big block at you, which was controlled by my dad, and then I'd be batting, and then we flip, right? It was, but at the time, man, dude, it was so cool because we're big baseball fans. So to be able to play that, there's a game called Ladybug. My mom used to play the crap. Like my parents, dude, I come from gamers, right? My parents would play till 2-3 in the morning. So yeah,
I really like that. My dad was always the one playing games. He used to write games back on Atari, and so he was always super excited to get me into stuff. And I think the first thing I may have played was Asteroids.
Nice. Wow.
I really liked Asteroids.
Yeah. My uncle had a whole Asteroids cabinet in his basement. We'd go down and we'd toss quarters in. Cool. Oh, it was, man. Yeah, that's what, dude, I've been a gamer for a while.
Gaming gets better as the year goes on, but it'll never quite be the same, will it?
No. Scott, we do have one release today, though. What is it?
We have Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game, number 5.
That's right. This is an early access. I am actually in the midst of reviewing this one right now. We didn't get our code till late Friday night, and review embargoes dropped this morning. I was not able to play enough to actually give you an official review on that, so you can look for that later on, I say next week's episode of Inside the Game. Scott, that's going to wrap up today's show. Everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. You can always join us live at 11 a.m. Eastern over on twitch.tv/theofficialitg or on YouTube at ITG Reviews. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. I'm Drew, that's Scott. We'll see you all tomorrow inside the game.